Hi, it's Joey and today I'm going to be watching The Gifted Season 2 Episode 7 No Mercy, which is a very ominous title. I think in this episode, the way things are building up, the Inner Circle are finally going to be doing the next part of their mission. Sorry I've been a little bit delayed this week, so this video is slightly later than normal, but I am so excited to watch it. I've been desperate to, let's go. 8 years ago.
Alright, listen up.
Blink?
So we have
Reva.
to let the arrivals know that this is our
Oh, we're going to see what she talked about with her best friend dying.
Holmes and telling them to go. Hey, you think I want this?
It's going to be really interesting to see what takes Reva from this rational point of view to her current point of view. Oh god.
Come on, Benny, we should go.
People are awful.
What do you think? Don't touch her!
So Reva was powerless back then to do anything to save her friend. And so now she decides that what she was fighting for, her cause of not making friends and who cares if you hurt everyone because they've already hurt you, is how she lives her life now.
We were all counting on you.
She's too young to be doing anything like this. Does Reva approve of this relationship? She'll definitely use it if she can.
Make sure everyone can't be late for dinner.
Who's she having dinner with? Oh, Reed. Looks a little bit under control, isn't it? Okay. It's not a little bit under control. That's a good... She can protect stuff from him. Family teamwork.
I don't want to hurt you.
We'll figure this out, okay?
At least then you'd be safe. If I stay here, we're all gonna get arrested anyway.
We'll figure this out. Hopefully they can help him this episode.
Minutes, okay?
Just accept the divorce, okay? Sign the divorce papers and look at where you are right now.
Give a damn.
You're standing in a hate group's church.
I've known this woman.
Sign the divorce papers.
Alright? We've been through the worst nightmare that a parent can go through.
And you won't let it end. You're making the nightmare carry on.
I gotta go.
You had the chance to make your relationship work, and you didn't take it. You joined a hate group. You joined the KKK of the mutant world.
You know what?
I really hope he's got a dormant X gene. That would be so funny.
Spill it or what?
I like this actor. But who is he? What is your role in this?
It's important.
Oh, so it's part of the
I need to know that tonight is just
part of the mission. But does she really like him? She's gonna end up killing this man. He has a child. Multiple
For
children.
the first time in 2 years, Daddy is smiling again.
Oh, oh god.
Nice suit, Romeo.
And the mission's beginning. Don't
worry,
kill
Clint.
him.
You're about to make history.
Unless he's involved in mutant atrocities, in which case, please don't kill him, but just maybe somehow get him arrested.
And if I don't?
How long was she dating him to set this up? Oh god. At least I believe
Do you know how many
she's not enjoying it, which is good.
I wish it was good.
Kind of makes it worse in a way. For him, I mean. If they had a genuine connection, but she was using him. So she get it to Marco if something happened to Lorna. Oh, so cute.
That should hold long enough.
Could Lauren somehow put her shield around his hands? It'd be good training for her as well.
Is he gonna live there? What's the plan?
Figure it out.
With the baby mama in the inner circle.
That was a bit of a low blow.
I know you don't want to admit it, but the Underground isn't doing so well.
I'd say we can use some new allies.
I agree with Clarice, but I don't like that she's lying to them about something, whatever it is she's doing with the herb. It's not going to be good when it comes out.
For now,
Is it the reporter guy that we've seen a billboard for? He's on TV a lot in the background. And the actor's been in loads of things. Yep.
to help the people take back America.
Do you want to make America great again? You need to talk through your emotions. You're going to get rid of the picture, okay? You're going to destroy the picture. Why did you can look at the picture if it's on the shelf. You need to pick the picture up to look at it, do you? Are you going to get overwhelmed by the emotion of love and then burn the picture? Or sadness? Yes, you read it. You could have looked at that on the shelf.
Fine.
Talk.
Clarice is back. I'll protect you.
It's not your job to protect me.
That's what she's going to want to do. Right now, she can protect you.
Is in this together.
Yep. I love them
It's time
a
we start
lot.
acting that way. We can't keep running from what we are.
Nope.
Sorry,
to interrupt family time, but
I love Clarice. She has the best lines.
That Greek place.
She's too dedicated to her mission, you're not going to get through to her. Do you know who you could have cared about and helped? All the mutants in Baltimore last episode. They really needed you. The Underground did not have the resources to deal with that. They tried to deal with it anyway. Like, I don't think she's out and out, you know, old-fashioned evil villain who cackles and strokes a cat. She's got layers. Or she's an interesting character, but they're not wearing the same outfit. I don't like it, like the Frost sisters. She should have put the mission outfit on anyway. If I was her, I'd have had her with Sage over the Frost. There are probably more covert ways they could have done this. I mean, this is very epic, but they got earplugs in or something. They seem to enjoy the fact they were hurting those people.
There are good folks that work there. You can't just throw them under the bus.
I appreciate you.
They're good mutants. You don't care about hurting them. Your racist friends aren't happy with you.
How this bank was
To be honest, the videos they make are very clearly like under duress. Something about that video would seem off. If it was on TV, you'd know, you can tell that he's not genuine. Like, I think this is the kind of a just cause in that if you're gonna take money from anybody, a bank like this that profits off hurting people.
never, so was mine.
Yep. Andy, is this your girlfriend?
Just asking.
Just be careful she doesn't turn them all inside out on her way out, because she might do. That's where that mutant died.
People are losing faith.
It's the problem.
I know you care about Clarice. We all do. But
Well, was this the time? You do need to talk, because Clarice is hiding something. Nice comfy car bonnets for you to sleep on. Should have at least tried to get a vault that was vaguely like this one for her to practice on.
you have to channel that. Just
Should probably turn the whole building inside out.
use. We're all you got.
He lost his own wife.
You want to show your wife you're not power.
It's just so obviously a coerced video.
Last 6 months, he's been suffering right in front of me, but I was too focused on everything else.
That's not your fault. He kept that from you too. Your family is cursed. Look at Dad. What if we're never able to touch him again?
Stop.
Think.
It's true, their choice of using the power then wasn't for fun, it wasn't
Really?
personal gain, it was to save lives. But I get why Lauren is scared that she would be tempted to use it again and get addicted to it somehow. Especially with the choices Andy is making, being in that direction rather than away.
It's not what this is about.
Well, it should be.
Tell me the truth.
They do need all that stuff.
Yes, okay.
You're gonna tell him?
I helped him. It's not have to run.
So that's your excuse to lie to me.
It's not an excuse.
They were far too happy at the start of the season. Lots of interesting points being raised. He can feel it coming, so surely he can like pull away if it does come. They haven't left yet, I'm scared.
Just put the video out. We've drained
The video's out before they've even left.
Account balances so far.
That's going to attract attention, you know, swatting people. They did say that the bank wouldn't be here tomorrow. I hope that Just Mint have no money and like go out of business. Rather than they're going to destroy the place. With him inside.
Soon the whole world will know my name.
Doesn't sound like she just wants a nice peaceful place for mutants to live to me. But there's been a video that's come out of a bank that he'll probably want to cover first. I'm scared.
You rotten hell.
She's going to kill someone. I mean, he could go to prison or something. That's what he deserves if he's committed crimes. Don't leave her last, because... Yep. Why did you leave her behind? Make sure she leaves first. I mean, there were lots of signs she was going to do that.
Rebecca.
Now what's the Inner Circle going to do? Because even they aren't that crazy. What Rebecca needed after getting out of that place was genuine psychological help and safety and not being thrust into a fight. Or maybe she did need to be locked up. Not the way they were locking her up, that was wrong. But, you know, maybe she needed something. Why would they end it there, right in the middle of everything that was happening? Ugh. Okay, so I've got lots and lots of points. I'm going to start with the Underground. Now, I think this episode was good. In the sense that we had, I think, both Lauren and Clarice, I don't think anyone else said it, commenting on the fact that what the Underground was doing, I mean, Clarice really said it, what the Underground is doing right now isn't working. And that's what, you know, we've been discussing that a lot recently. A lot of people who talk to me who support the Inner Circle use that as one of their arguments. They say, oh, the Underground's not making any, doing anything, it's not making any change, they haven't got a plan, therefore I like the Inner Circle. For me, it's not that simple. I think it's good that they're aware of the fact that they are barely surviving, that they are just looking to the next day, to the next day, to the next day. Now their lives have been made a hell of a lot harder by things like the Inner Circle. All of their missions, getting mutants to go out on the streets and protest or whatever. I mean, the protesters seem to be talking about in the news were quite violent, but then I suppose with real protests they'll focus on the violence rather than the peaceful protesters. But it's sort of the more the Inner Circle does, the more the people that don't like mutants can stand up on their platforms and say, see, look at these bad mutants, we're right, mutants are bad. Whereas if the only mutants that were in the media, in the high profile, were good mutants, were mutants helping people, not hurting people, then I think that fight would be a lot easier, because people would be able to stand up and say, well, look at these mutants who are, you know, they've saved a school. There's the California wildfires that are going on right now in the real world. If mutants could go and put those out, you know, something like that would be much better press. But anyway, I think the Underground, it's good that they're aware of the fact that what they're doing right now is not working, it's barely surviving. But I think given that they lost everything last season, for them this season was always going to be a scramble trying to get through it, and we've just got to hope that they can stick together long enough that they will make it through the season without all splintering off into different groups. Now the Morlocks, I think I like them, you know, I don't hate the Morlocks. I'm not happy with the whole branding thing, but on the whole, just wanting a society that's safe, that's just away. I understand it, and they don't hurt anyone, that's the whole point. I mean, they steal some food, but in the grand scheme of things, a little bit of food being stolen isn't that bad. They wouldn't intentionally... I mean, the way he stole the food, no one knew they were there until they were gone, and no one was scared, no one was hurt. I think that is much better than the Inner Circle. Now, when Reva said to the guy, whose name I don't know, but I know the actor from lots of things, when she told him, oh, soon everyone will know my name, that's not something you'd say if you were just trying to create a nice peaceful little... The way she said it was quite like, when we rule the world, you'll know my name. Now, I don't necessarily think that her plan is to take over the world. I think she'll probably want to somehow get her own place to live, but I just... Reva is very interesting. I think I don't like the Inner Circle. I think, obviously, we'll get to Rebecca. They're not like, they don't go out and think, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we just kill all those humans? They're not psychopaths. They're not serial murdering psychopaths. They have plans, but in their plans, they will, like when she was saying to him, think of your children, I didn't doubt for a minute that had he refused, the next thing that would have happened would they were going to drag his children in there. Like, I think the Inner Circle would do that. We've seen that with the fact that they got Lorna to blow up the plane, which, you know, there were flight attendants on that plane who hadn't done anything wrong. And then you have things like the people that knew that they'd used that facility for Lorna to give birth, they were all murdered. There's no excuse for that at all. Just none. So I don't at all support them. But I think it's good that they aren't like, that their missions aren't revolved around, and then we kill all of the people who work in the bank. Because, again, it's ethically questionable. Obviously this bank does a lot of things that are dodgy, but some of the bank tellers, if they haven't gone online and researched the company, they're not going to know that this bank they're working for has funded mutant abuse, are they? But they still died. Now I know that the Inner Circle, they weren't their plan, but I don't know, it's just... Obviously Reva has a plan in motion, but I think Reva's got the advantage of she's been planning this for 8 years, whereas the Underground, all their plans were destroyed last season and they're trying to catch up. And then you have things like Rebecca made it very clear that she wasn't just going to wave goodbye to the door and leave. The minute she'd been quite gung-ho about killing people, she'd mentioned to Lorna downstairs, what, we're just going to let them go? Why would we do that? There were so many red flags with Rebecca that she was going to do something like this, and it's the Inner Circle's fault for not stopping her, for giving her the situation in which she would do that. Now, I don't necessarily think they are to blame for what she did. It's kind of, they're at fault, but they're not. It's a messy one, I know. But it was quite obvious to me that she was at least going to attempt to do something like that. I hoped that they would stop her, but they just heard her say I want to kill them, and then Reva thought that, oh, my magic authority, she'll just leave with me. Whereas obviously Rebecca, we don't know why she was locked up in the first place. And I think we can all agree how she was locked up was inhumane, it was wrong, but did she do something evil to be locked up? Or was she a mutant who just lost control of her powers? The fact that she said about 12 I was turning police cars inside out makes it seem like she was at least running around actively using her powers and potentially hurting people, especially if she turned her family inside out. Now, was that an accident or was that on purpose? They made it very clear that when Andy said about his mum being human and she said, oh, mum was too, who cares? She obviously didn't like her mum. But that could be because her mum was racist. It could be that she was abused by her mother and that's part of what made her lash out with her power. So I'm not necessarily saying Rebecca's to blame for whatever happened before, but we don't know what happened before. We don't know her history. We don't know how she became the person she is now, but we know that whatever happened, happened. And then she was put through this horrible abuse. Then the minute they rescued her from that, they said, all right, now we're going to go and rob a bank. Can you help us? All right, you can help us. That wasn't the environment to heal. That wasn't the environment to move past the worst experience she's had. That's the sort of environment where she's still part of a war, and I think that was wrong. And I still understand against Andy and Rebecca being part of the inner circle just because they are children. We don't know Rebecca's exact age, but the fact that she's dating Andy and that no one is raising any eyebrows means she can't be more than 16 to me. It was quite obvious she was going to do something not good, and they let her do it, essentially. Now, obviously, they looked horrified. I'm not saying that any of the others were happy about that. But that's going to cause a really interesting dilemma. What are they going to do with her now? Are they just going to sit her down? I think how they deal with her as well will be another... See, for me, this episode, I was viewing it a lot as, how much do I hate the Inner Circle? And at the moment, I don't agree with their methods. I don't like them. But they're not sort of a group that I hate. Whereas I hate the Purifiers. The Inner Circle I don't like. I don't agree with. I would never support them. I would stay by myself. I would join the Underground's the people I agree with the most. Or I would maybe join the Morlocks over the Inner Circle. I would not join the Inner Circle under any circumstances. Maybe unless they threatened to kill me and everyone I loved. Maybe then I'd join them. But you know, they were not someone that I agree with. But I was hoping they weren't going to kill the bank people. Because even the guy that was very clearly anti-mutant, who very likely had a role in some of the dodgy anti-mutant stuff they'd done, doesn't deserve to be murdered. He deserves prison. He deserves to be held accountable for his actions, not to just die. But I like the fact that Reva, that wasn't her plan. She wasn't just going in there to kill them, which I think gives her not like a point, in my opinion. Like, not like, good job, that's 5 points to Reva. But it means I don't think she's evil, and I never have thought she was evil, but I like that they're showing that she's not just sadistic. If in her plan that bank guy had pressed the panic button and then run out into the hall screaming, guys help, or something, she'd have killed him without a second thought. I think that I don't like. And I also believe she felt bad about using the guy she'd been dating, fake dating. She still did it, but she felt bad about it, and she threatens children. Ugh. What they do with Rebecca is going to be very interesting as a sign. Is the Inner Circle going to sit her down and say, now, Rebecca, that was very bad. Don't do that again, okay? Off you go, sweetheart, have fun. Because they need her. Or are they going to have to try and stop her? Is she going to be out of control? I'm just very interested in what the Inner Circle is going to do with her. I think Reva's power stops mutant abilities, so if she can do it fast enough, they could technically subdue Rebecca if required. But, it's just going to be interesting what they do. And Andy is not a psychopath. Andy has always been someone that has, you know, when he loved last season, he was reading up about Fenris and going, oh my god, isn't this awesome, Lauren? We have this amazing legacy. And Lauren's response was, they're mass murderers, that's not good, Andy. And Andy was like, oh, Lauren, you don't understand, this is really cool. He's always been more okay with the vague concept of killing people, if required. But he's been faced now with his girlfriend just cold-bloodedly murdering a room full of people, some of who were genuinely innocent. I think they probably didn't even know that they were working for a bank that had any kind of dodgy dealings. They were just people that woke up that day, said goodbye to their loved ones and went to work, and Rebecca murdered them. So how Andy deals with that is going to be very interesting. I hope it's not going to be next episode Andy's just happy as ever with her because it's his first love and he's all puppy love. I hope we're going to see Andy struggle with that, and the whole Inner Circle, in a way, as a core, struggling with that. They allowed this to happen. It was their plan that this happened. They ignored the red flags with Rebecca because they needed her to break open the vault. And he even got her to tap into all the feelings she'd had about that. Now, it's what you do with a mutant if you need them to use their powers, same like Lauren did that to Andy in season 1, you get them to relive the dark moments, but for Rebecca those are very dark. Now again, I don't blame Andy for that at all, but he could maybe blame himself for stirring that up inside her, though I think it was pretty much stirred up. So it's going to be, I can't wait to see how they respond to that, and I hope it is done with justice. It's not kind of like, I think in the next episode everyone in the inner circle is just like, Rebecca, that was very bad, go to your room with no dinner tonight and tomorrow everything's fine, and they gloss over it. I think I would find that the inner circle would go a few more rungs down the ladder. This episode they stayed fairly on par on the ladder where they were before. I said it in the reaction at least once. The whole videos they have where they get somebody to stand there and say, this organisation is very bad, we hurt mutants, long live mutants. It just looks like someone who's done it with a gun pointed at their head. I see why they're doing it. I think it makes sense why they're doing it, but it'd be far better if they could somehow find the proof in the bank that they had done this and publish the proof. Same with the previous mental institution. Publish the proof from the mental hospital. Don't just get some people to make a very much brainwashed gun point at the head torture video, because that's, it's like if you coerce a confession from somebody, it doesn't, like, it's not held in court because it's very clearly, you know, if someone was torturing me, I had a gun at my head right now while I was filming this reaction, I would stand and I would say, Lauren is my least favourite character. I hate Lauren if I thought it was going to save my life, when obviously she's my favourite character. So I find, I get the logic, I get why they're doing it, but I don't think it's logical, and I don't think it's going to hold up. And I'm very intrigued to see all the big pieces of her plan. Obviously they got a lot of money from this episode, and they managed to bankrupt an institution that had caused a lot of suffering to mutants, and most specifically the Frost Sisters. Esme is still interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing over the course of this season how far she's different from her sisters. Her sisters are less worried about people, hurting people, emotions and things. Esme is a little bit more in tune to that now. It could be that, you know, when the moment comes, she sides with her sisters above all else and she reverts back, or she could have some genuine ethical issues. And what she's going to make of the fact that while they were there, Rebecca did that, I don't know. So I think Esme's still fascinating, and I like that she didn't use her powers on Dawn. You know, Sage probably wouldn't have told Lorna if she had, because the baby crying was kind of irritating. So I think that did show that Esme is at least trying to be there for Lorna and to be trustworthy for Lorna, because she likes Lorna and cares about Lorna. It's just when push comes to shove, she may well give in and not be there for Lorna anymore. We have Reed and his powers. I feel really bad for him. That was honestly, like, I don't even know if I physically reacted very much to that, because I was just so, like, dying inside for him. It just, the way they did it, you could see every fibre of his being was suffering, was scared, was hopeless. And, has his mutant powers, have they always been like this? Or is it a consequence of his father suppressing them? It's got to be a consequence of, you know, 30, 40 years of them being inside him, suppressed, waiting to come out, and now exploding. That's got to be why it's so bad, right? But I guess we'll find out if they go and see Madeline, scientist. Lauren, this episode, every scene that Lauren is in, she just kills me. I love her so much. Just when she said that she'd protect him, and then Reed realised that without even a heartbeat, Lauren will just protect him and be there for him. And right now, he couldn't do that for her. And when she was going through her mutant, when she was becoming a mutant, when it was all everything she was going through, he wasn't there for her. And I think that is something that this season, last season he didn't really have time to stop and think about it. This season he's had that time, and he's really aware of how awful it feels to become a mutant, especially for Lauren in an environment where you don't feel welcomed with that, you can't talk to people about it. And I think that the Strucker family scenes just get me to my core. Like, Reed and Caitlin are not my favourite characters. They don't reach my favourite character list. You know, I've got 5 or 6 people that are my favourite characters, but I love them as characters, and I love the Strucker family, the 3 of them that are still together. And I think even the fact that Andy was part of that core family that just stuck together through everything, and all last season fought to be together, and now he's off, is also compelling. And Lauren and Reed's relationship is one of the ones I find so fascinating to watch, so heartbreaking 90% of the time, but I like that she was able to be there for him. And just when, again, I think, see, it's interesting because earlier in the season when Lauren was suffering in silence and not telling anyone how she was feeling, I think there's probably a little bit of her that was kind of angry at her parents for not noticing, for not being there for her, for not, pretty angry at her mum for being so obsessed with getting Andy back and not accepting the fact that Andy had left and being oblivious to Lauren and Reed's suffering, then when it comes to Caitlin saying, oh, I wasn't there for you, or I wasn't there for Reed, I didn't pay attention, I didn't see it because I was too focused on Andy, Lauren's instinctive, loving side is to say, no, Mum, it's okay, it wasn't your fault. And oh my god, I relate to that so much with so many different areas of life. I love Lauren so much, and oh, she's such a good person. And I think, again, I like that they haven't forgotten that last season we had Lauren talking about using the Fenris power and saying that when she used it. She liked it. She liked that she felt powerful. And I think that is part of the reason with her nightmares, part of what scares her so much, is that she would like it again. If Andy were to be there and they were to hold hands, they could hurt innocent people, they could hurt people and enjoy it. Now, I don't think she needs to worry in the sense that it's all, I mean, I love as well that they haven't made her forget that they kill people in Atlanta, because realistically the character Lauren is, that would weigh on her soul forever, the fact that she's killed people. But in that moment, she saved so many people's lives. And again, it's one of those situations where they didn't set out intentionally wanting to kill people, but there were just people that it was them or a lot more innocent people. And I think it's so good that Lauren is feeling bad about it, because it was not good, but it wasn't the worst scenario. The worst case scenario was all of them suffering and dying. And I think there is a danger in Lauren's mind, and I hope isn't one that's going to translate into really in the show, would be that if Andy was around and they kept using the power, they would just lose their minds. That they would maybe the Von Strucker twins started off as quite rational people, only using their powers to help people, and then they lost their minds and they got addicted to the rush of it. I think Lauren is definitely very afraid of that being inside her, something she's inherited, and I really hope that that's more just something she's afraid of, and that Lauren's inner goodness, her true belief, all her beliefs and everything are against that. I hope that if the moment came, she would be able to pull back from it, and she would not be quite so psychopathic. So, I was about to finish up, but I forgot Clarice. Marcos, we noticed last when they were down with the Morlocks, that she was having secret moments with him, that she really buys into the ideal of the Morlocks. Now again, the Morlocks, like I said, I agree with them, I like them, I don't think they're evil, I think they shouldn't brand people, but I think they're a good idea. But there's got to be a better solution than we shall go live underground in the sewers. I don't know, I love that they're peaceful, I like that they're non-violent, I think that is just so much better than being in a circle. But it's not a sustainable thing. I mean, if my choices were be oppressed or live underground, I'd probably pick live underground, but I wouldn't be very happy about it. I think if we could all find a way to use the mutant resources, to get resources for them, to get money and finances, and to just show people that mutants are good. You're always going to have the crazy people, but it's just like today, you still have crazy, racist, homophobic people, even though there is no basis for that whatsoever. So of course in a mutant world, you're going to have the crazies, the idiots, but they don't matter if you can show the normal people, stop them becoming the crazies, and just, I don't know, something better. But you can see Clarice, she buys into the Morlock thing, and she could just go down there and live there. She wouldn't need a brand, she wouldn't need anything. She has a place there if she ever wants it. And I think, given how futile and hopeless the Underground's plight is, she can see the appeal of that. But I agree with John that, you know, I mean, she hasn't been fighting from the start. Since the start of last season, she's been fighting. And they are her home, they are her family, they are her cause. I think currently, her love for John and the group as a whole, they are like a little family. That is more important to her than the Morlocks, but I think she wouldn't be opposed to trying to get everybody to go down and join the Morlocks if possible. And the Morlocks are good allies to have. She's correct about that. I kind of wish she could have told John about the information sooner, but maybe John wouldn't have been okay with it. I don't know. But it was good in a way that Marcos told John, but I don't know if right there and then was the time to tell John. But TV drama, of course. I don't think that's the end of John and Clarice's relationship. I think the way Clarice talked about going to the Morlocks would kind of deflate John's anger or his fear that she wanted to leave him and go and join the Morlocks. So I think I'd like to see the next episode having a more calm, rational, I'm sorry, let's talk it through, because there's stuff to talk through there. And I hope that the Underground is going to start trying, once we sort out what's wrong with Reed, to figure out how to make steps forward, to stop being just purely reactionary and to start making progress, because they need to do that for their own sakes, or they are just going to be miserable. They need a win, basically. This show needs to give the Underground a win, even a small win, please. See, that was, oh, and then also before I forget, Jace Turner needs to just sign his divorce papers and move on. His wife has made that bloody clear, and he can go be racist all he wants over on the side. She wants to have a life that has hope in it and has remembering her daughter for all the ways they loved her, rather than remembering her daughter for just the tragedy of how she died. But yes, that was another brilliant episode. I can't wait to see where they're going to go with it next week. Thank you for watching.